was such a wonderful thank you. I'm a wonderful thing to say. I'm really obliged and I'm happy. And what can I say? So let's talk about meditation. Why we are here? What is the
Didi,
meaning of meditation? Yes,
can I play a video, please?
please. Yes, yes, definitely.
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर् साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः
Thank you, Preeti.
It's highly touching. Really, I'm highly touched, and I have no words to say on this. Thank you for this
Really, thank you.
respect and everything. Thank you. So, our main topic, meditation. That's what I wanted to. I want to explain. Like, what is meditation? I think I did explain last time. If I haven't, please, it's again. So we whenever we go to a park, we need what is the uh, vehicle that we use. Our legs take that part, and we walk in the park with the help of our legs. And whenever we have to go in the city, so what is the vehicle, the mode of commuting? Our car or bus or train. Through that we commute in the city from one place to the other place. Whereas if we have to go out of the town, so either we utilize aeroplane or train again or car. So that is a mode of commuting. But if you want to take that journey inside, what is a mode of commuting? Your meditation. So meditation, again I'll say, gives you an introduction with yourself. We know about everything, but how much do you know about yourself? Meditation is the only tool which actually starts the inner journey, which gets you connected to your intellect mind, the buddhi, the higher intelligent mind. Otherwise, on an average, we human being on an average utilize only 5 to 7% of the brain capacity. Rest remain untapped, unutilized. So meditation is the only tool through which we can get connected to the untapped brain of ours. And meditation actually gives you clarity of thought. So your karmas, we always say whatever we are uh, suffering, whatever we are suffering, or we are happy because of whatever we are happy, is due to the past life karma. And whatever we will earn, whatever we do now, it decides our future. So if there is no confusion in your brain, so obviously whatever decision you take, it will be always right. And with that right decision, whatever karma will be there, always it will, even that will be right. And your karma will be right, so obviously your future will be bright. Your future will be full of happiness. So your future lies in your hand. How connected you are with your intellect mind, it depends on you. It depends on your day-to-day activity, your meditation and pranayama and all. Because as I said, when you start doing that, you get connected to your higher brain, your intellect mind. And anyone can just show you the path. The path is beautiful, but to walk on that path is completely in your hand, because the willpower lies with us. That's the reason. Whenever there are things that are told to us, and we again we think and we say that, yeah, I know we should do it, I know we should, I should meditate every day, I know I should do yoga, or I should go for a walk or jog every day, but don't feel like doing it, do not feel like doing it. So again, that 5 to 7% of the brain capacity, we become slave of that, which can be wrong at times. But the intellect mind will always give you right advice. It never, because there is no confusion. You, or your thought process is always clear. And you know for sure inside that you're 100% right. So your karma is always right. And it makes your life more beautiful, your future more beautiful, more colorful, full of happiness, serenity, calm. What more do we want? By just giving us half an hour, 20 minutes, it can shape our life. It can shape our mind. It can shape whatever we are looking for. And you know, one more thing. So when you do, you make meditation your part. So whatever, again, all positive qualities, positive thoughts come to your mind. And whatever you want, whatever you desire becomes fulfilled. So again, you'll always remain happy because wrong thoughts never occur to your mind. And you are always positive. That's what happens. So let's start our today's journey with the wonderful pranayam that we have been doing, so that we are more focused when we understand, or when we go through our today's topics and all. So Ravi, can we have the pranayam come meditation, the audio?
Take your positions. Sit with your back straight, with your hands in Gyan Mudra, resting on your lap. Close your eyes and relax. Relax every part of your body. Let's begin with Omkar. Begin. Now, Brahmari. Now prepare yourself for Anulom Vilom. Assume the Pranam Mudra with your right hand and begin. Left in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Jalandhar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Jalandhar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Left out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Jalandhar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Jalandhar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Left out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Jalandhar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Jalandhar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Left out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release. Gently bring your right hand back to Gyan Mudra. It is now time for square breathing in sync with the Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Om bhurbhuvasvaha tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Om bhurbhuvasvaha tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Om bhurbhuvasvaha tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Om bhurbhuvasvaha tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat.
Welcome back. So that was all about the pranayam and all. I'm sure you must have settled down in your thoughts and all. So let's start today's topic. So last time we spoke about Vishuddhi Chakra. We just touched that. So we spoke about the Agya Chakra, Vishuddhi Chakra, and we didn't speak about the glands that it is connected. But the last time, since last 3-4 turns, I've been saying that each chakra is enriched in one quality. And by default, we are born with that quality. Okay. Now it's up to us whether we make that default quality into the positive quality or into the negative quality. It depends on our thought process, stress level, our eating habit, our willpower. We change that. And I told you that the default quality of Muladhara Chakra is sexuality. Now, if the sexuality is not under control, it is important. We all know that. For human growth, sexuality is important. But if it is not under control, 2-3 things can happen. What are the upgun or the negative qualities of that we may develop because of imbalanced Muladhara Chakra is too much of anger, fear, or manipulation, then ego. And the positive quality, if we are aware of it and we work towards it, and we meditate and we understand we are with the nature, then the positive quality of Muladhara Chakra, that will obviously and definitely will start seeping in, and we start living with it, is stability, fearlessness, understanding everyone, compassion, passion, and your I told you fearlessness and no confusion at all. Okay. And the by default, the quality of your our Swadhisthana Chakra is creativity. We need that creativity and all. But if we start assuming, we start thinking that creativity we have earned, then what happened? We are filled with ego, and again the negativity starts seeping in. But otherwise, if we think it that we are fortunate enough to get that creativity, to get that gift from the higher power, then we work towards it. And or what are the positive quality that we start pouring inside are again growth, expansiveness. That's what all start coming in. And again, confidence. That's a part of your Swadhisthana chakra. Then Muladhara chakra, the default quality of Muladhara chakra is ego. The individuality is important for everyone. Again, I said last time that we have to know who we are, what we are, and why we have come. That individuality, that ego is a must. But again, if we don't keep it under control, the negative things, what can happen? Again, manipulation, too much of ego. We don't think anyone around, like we don't think anyone's worth in our eyes. So everyone is worthless, and we are the only one who are full of worth and who are brainy and intelligent. And we think that everyone, like all the other people, they don't understand. They are not brainy at all. We become overconfident, and we start hurting people. People start fearing you. So these are the negative quality. And what are the positive quality? If we start using that, so you become a good leader, a very favorite leader. You start moving ahead, and the growth happens. But in a group, you start moving again ahead with all the people in all. And again, the confidence, not overconfidence. That's bad. Confidence, the leadership quality, taking everyone along with you, are the positive quality of your Manipur chakra. By default, quality of Anahata chakra is love. We all need that love. But again, when we are not aware of it, it turns into possessiveness, again, hurting others, hurting your near and dear ones. That are the negative qualities. But yet, when you start understanding, the Anahata chakra actually flowers inside. The flower of Anahata chakra opens up, blooms. Then what happens? We are filled with devotion, compassion, passion, love, unconditional love. Then you have love which has meaning towards it. You want to help others. The kindness all starts seeping in. So now it's turn for Vishuddhi chakra. Now, what are the default quality of Vishuddhi chakra? The default quality of Vishuddhi chakra is communication, because through this, the communication skills comes to us. To communicate. Now, first you have to understand what is the meaning of Vishuddhi. Vishuddhi is purification, filter. So it filters our thought. Imagine what kind of thoughts we used to get when we were 18-year-old or younger. So many thoughts used to come, so many ideas used to come. But this chakra helps us to filter those ideas. What is usable, what we should use, what we should do. It filters that. It filters on each and every stage. It filters our thought process. It filters our ideas. It filters our communication skills also. But when we are unaware of it, when we take undue advantage of this, what happens? Then again, we start hurting people with our communication. You must have heard so many bhajans also in Hindi, that शब्द संभाले बोलिए, शब्द के हाथ न पावरे, एक शब्द औषध करे, एक शब्द करे घावरे. Means whatever you speak, you have to be aware what you are speaking. Your speech has a power. With your speech, you can hurt someone. With your speech, you can make your enemy also near and dear to you. So your speech beholds that much of power. So this power we get from the Vishuddhi chakra. Again, Vishuddhi chakra is a filter to your speech, to your thought, and to your ideas. Remember the amount of ideas we used to get, and every day we keep getting it. But do you fulfill all those ideas? No. Our Vishuddhi chakra, our brain filters them. And then we start working on one or two ideas. The same thing it's so many things you want to speak all the time, but again, you filter it. Thoughts, again, you filter your thoughts. No, this thought I don't want in me. So this all work is done by Vishuddhi chakra. When it is opened, it is under balance, then imagine what wonderful thing it can do. Vishuddhi chakra, when it is nicely opened, I mean to say, well balanced and all, it gives you, it is enriched in occult also. It gives you mystical uh, experiences also, when it is well opened, when you are actually working on it. So that's the reason in India, so many gurus, they don't work on the Vishuddhi chakra. They don't open it properly. They don't work on it because at times people don't digest that. The mystical power, they don't digest it. That they get scared. So guru, they just leave that because of this. But Vishuddhi chakra, again, as I said, meditation is a power, is a tool. And we have to balance all the chakras. The journey of meditation towards meditation is a wonderful journey. It's in us. We have to decide whether we want to walk on that path or not. So it's a beautiful journey again. And Vishuddhi chakra, as you know, like all the other chakras, Vishuddhi chakra also controls two glands in our body. That is parathyroid gland and thyroid gland. We all know about thyroid gland. How many of you know about the parathyroid gland? I'm sure the doctors know. But believe me, when I started my PhD in chakras, then only I came to know about parathyroid thyroid gland. I must have learned it when I was in the school, but I forgot it completely. So there are two glands. They are not connected. They have two different features. They have two different workmanship in our body. So thyroid, we all know, it is to do with our fat and everything. A lot of things it controls in our body. Parathyroid gland controls the calcium level in our blood. So once I was taking a workshop somewhere, that the moment I mentioned this parathyroid gland, one of the lady got up. That was the only example I can give you. And she said, yes, that's the reason I'm here in your class, because my parathyroid gland are not working properly. So I asked her that, can you explain the problems you are going through, or the diseases that you are suffering from, the problems you're suffering from? She said, yes, I'm so sorry, because my parathyroid glands are not working properly, it is secreting too much of parathyroxine. So my blood has too much of calcium level, which has made my bone very my blood doesn't because my blood has less calcium. So the parathyroid gland, what happens in this, when the parathyroid gland is not working proper, what is the feature of parathyroid gland? You have to understand that whenever parathyroid gland uh, assumes that the blood has less calcium level, it sucks the calcium from the bone and puts it in the blood. That's what it does. That's what the feature of parathyroid gland is. Because that lady's parathyroid gland was imbalanced or was not working properly, so the calcium level in the blood was high, because parathyroid gland kept on sucking calcium from the bone because it was not balanced. So her blood has excess calcium level. Bone had less calcium. So her bone were very fragile, and she used to get a lot of fractures and all. Like any day, like if she falls, and there used to be a multiple fracture in her body. That's what she said. And because her blood has excess calcium, it used to get turned into kidney stones, and she was suffering from the kidney stone problem also. So they were these two problems she was suffering from. So whoever gets removed their parathyroid or thyroid gland, they have to take the calcium tablets and all to keep it under level. That's what. And again, Vishuddhi chakra controls the function of these two glands, because of it's in the periphery of it comes under, these two glands come under the periphery of Vishuddhi chakra. And can we have that video, Ravi? of parathyroid, and then immediately can run that, first thyroid, and then immediately can run that parathyroid.
Okay.
Thyroid and parathyroid glands both function in conjunction with the Vishuddhi chakra. The thyroid gland is located in the middle of the lower neck, below the larynx, voice box, and just above the clavicles, collarbones. The thyroid plays an important role in regulating the body's metabolism. Physically, this gland governs communication. Emotionally, it governs independence. Mentally, it governs fluent thought. And spiritually, it governs a sense of security. It also helps to build human qualities like affection, love, capacity for high thinking, and concentration, leading to self-controlled, balanced temperament, purity of heart, and unselfishness. When it is deranged, a person becomes mentally unsteady, too talkative, and ungrateful. When this gets damaged, one tends to put on excess weight. These glands control the element of air. Parathyroid glands are small glands of the endocrine system, which are located in the neck behind the thyroid. There are 4 parathyroid glands, which are normally the size and shape of a grain of rice. Parathyroid glands produce the parathyroid hormone, which plays a role in the regulation of calcium levels in the blood, so that the nervous and muscular systems can function properly.
So these are the function of parathyroid and thyroid gland. Again, why it is important to understand, because these glands are connected with the chakras. If the chakras are working properly in your body, these glands also are well balanced. You will never in life will suffer from the hormonal problem, because these chakras control the function of these glands. That's the reason we are talking about it. The spiritual function of each and every gland is controlled by our chakras. Even the emotional and mental problems, mental features of each and every gland are controlled by the chakras. So it's important to know which chakra controls what. And you have to understand, when these chakras are fully, completely balanced, these chakra glands automatically will work fully and will be well balanced, and we will never suffer from the hormonal problem due to these glands and all, because each and every gland have 4 features. Again, I'll repeat: mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. So if your gland is not working properly, you won't even only suffer from physically because of due to that gland. All these 4 features also suffer because of that. So now that is all about our Vishuddhi chakra. We did learn the Beej mantra of Vishuddhi chakra. Now it's time to understand the Agya chakra. We have to move ahead to Agya chakra, which is located in our third eye region. But before we understand the Agya chakra, we have to understand the 3 facets of our mind. First, we have to know what is mind or what is brain. Brain is the hardware and mind is the software. So in that software, again, it has three features. It has three parts. What are those parts? Conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. So can we have that video, Ravi?
Sure.
Thank you, Ravi.
To get a better understanding of the Agya Chakra, we need to be aware of the different facets of the mind. The mind operates at the three levels of awareness, which are conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. Conscious is responsible for our awareness in the waking state. Subconscious includes the things that we are not thinking of at that moment, but which we can easily draw into conscious awareness. Unconscious is responsible for our different personality, perception, demeanor, and behavior, because these are based on the past life impressions and memories that are carried forward with our soul in each birth.
So what are that? It's important to understand these three facets of mind. So in the computer language, if you want to understand, conscious is limited. As I said, 5 to 7% of the brain capacity can be termed under, can come under conscious mind, which again is our physical mind, very limited mind. So in computer language, the conscious mind can be explained as a screen, which is again very limited. Whatever appears on the screen is a very limited language. You only limited knowledge. You only understand that much, whatever appears on the screen. You get to know, you learn only that much. Okay. Then subconscious can be in between 15 to 7% of the brain capacity. That is again connected with our memory bank. So many times don't we say that, okay, put some pressure and you will, again, you will, that memory will come back to you, right? So in computer, the subconscious brain can be explained as the files that we save on our computer. And whenever we want that information or that knowledge, we click on that file and we get all the knowledge is there with us because they are saved in the file by us. Now, unconscious, which is vast, which is about 97 to which contains about 93% of our brain capacity. What is that? Unconscious mind. And in computer language, how will you explain? The internet, Google. And whatever you type on Google, practically you get some kind of information, isn't it? But to get connected to that Google, to that internet, you need the password. And what is that password? To get connected to your unconscious mind? Meditation. Because that unconscious mind, the intellect mind, contains so many past life impressions. That's the reason such young kids, they can recite Gita, they can recite Quran, they can recite Bible. How do you think they know that? Young kids, they have never been taught. They carry it with themselves in this life. Whatever they learned in the previous life, they so many times they carry it. That's the reason whenever we are in front of a difficult situation, unknowingly we do something, and then we wonder how we did it, how we have never learned it, yet you do it. So you carry all these impressions, you carry all these experiences with you. So in Gita also, Arjun said that if I do this, won't I get lost whenever I die? And Shri Krishna Bhagwan again, he says, the Lord Krishna says, no, nothing gets lost with you. You carry it with you. You carry it in your next life whenever you get it. So whatever meditation you do, whatever experience you gain in this life, it doesn't end here. Whenever you start in your next life, obviously, because we are in this cycle of death and birth, unless until we fulfill all our karmas. Till that time, we'll have to keep taking birth, we'll keep dying, we'll keep take birth till we learn our lessons on this world. In this world, we fulfill all our karmas, nothing is left. So till that, whatever experience we gather in the past life, they travel it with you. That's the reason they come to you at times like a dream. It comes to you when you are in a facing a difficult situation. It comes to you when you are least aware of it. It just dawned to you. It is given. It comes to you because you carry it with yourself. Now, why it was important before to understand Ajna Chakra? Ajna Chakra controls your conscious and subconscious mind, and your Sahasrara Chakra is connected with your intellect mind, the unconscious mind. That's the reason it was important to understand the three facets of mind. So now it's time for meditation because we hardly have about a little more than 15 seconds, 15 minutes. So we can have the question answer session once we finish our meditation. So can we start our meditation now, Ravi? We can't start the Agya Chakra one. We'll have to do whatever we did last time. And then we can have the question answer session.
With your back straight, with your hands in Gyan Mudra, resting on your lap. Close your eyes and relax. Relax every part of your body. Let's begin with Omkar. Begin. Now it is time for chakra meditation. Muladhara Chakra, located above the anus. Now, Beach Mantra, begin. located just below the tailbone. Now, the beach mantra. Begin. One. Next, Manipur chakra, located right behind our navel on the lumbar spine. Now, the beach mantras. Begin. It is time for Anahat now, located behind the heart on the path of the thoracic spine. The beach mantras. Begin. Next, Vishuddhi, located right behind our Adam's apple on the path of the cervical spine. Now, beach mantras begin. With that, we will end this meditation with the universal mantra Om. Begin. Rub your palms together, cup your eyes, and slowly open your eyes. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Welcome back. So we did what we did last time till the Vishuddhi Chakra. The next session we'll be talking about the Agya Chakra, its location, how does it look, and the element connected with it, and the gland that is connected with the Agya chakra. Now, if you have any question answer, we can talk about that.
Vipinji?
Okay. Is Bij mantra physical or I just feel it mentally?
It's actually everything is mental in this. There's no physical thing, but physically you feel the vibration in that part of the body. So suppose if you're chanting Hang of Vishuddhi chakra, you will feel vibration in this part of the body. So your gland, your spine, everything vibrates along with that. And you start working on your Vishuddhi chakra. It starts opening up. It starts becoming balanced along with your glands and everything around.
Can meditation open and control all chakras, or is it pranayama a must?
Pranayam, as I said, what is the meaning of pranayam is pran plus ayam. That is exercise of your prana, of your energy. So pranayam, the purpose of pranayam is to collect prana from each and every part of your body, because we have 72,000 nadis through which the prana flows. Pranayam collects those prana and give a free flow, and then it gives a movement to the prana, because it is distracted in 72,000 direction. It gives one upward movement. That is the purpose of prana. Then pranayam, we have to actually understand what is the meaning of yoga one of the day. Then then meditation takes it upward, further up, and then it unites with the higher power. It opens up your higher brain, the intellect mind, and then all those experiences start happening to you. All those positive qualities, you start feeling it inside. You start living with that. That's what it does. And in turn, it takes care of your physical health. It takes care of your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. We all know that if we have too much of stress, physically also we suffer because of that. Everything is interconnected, and it takes care of all the aspects of your life.
Somebody has asked, how do we get this instrumental music while practicing?
We have already, I think we have shared this. I went to the studio and recorded it. However, you can have this, whatever you do it here. I'm sure if you get connected to Raviji, he'll share this audio with you all. And you can do it on a regular day-to-day basis.
I have sent my number to the person asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
So after the session, if she gets in touch with me, I'll add her to the group and you can access it from there.
Is pranayam should be before meditation or later?
Yeah, no, it should be before meditation. As I said, it helps us to collect prana from all the nadis and gives a single movement, that it's the upward movement. And then your meditation starts from there, because our focus increases by doing that. So it should be done after pranayama.
If I'm feeling uneasy at chest chakra, can I just chant that mantra only? Will it give relief immediately, or should I chant all mantras?
You should chant all mantras, because if you want to go to the 10th floor or 7th floor, you can't straight away reach to the 7th floor, right? You have to pass through all the floors and then you can reach. Whether you are taking the staircase or you are taking the lift, you have to pass through all the floors. The similar way comes with your meditation. You have to chant all the mantras, and then if you want to stay at Anahata Chakra for a longer time, you can do that. And yes, definitely, as I said, all the diseases are connected with the Nadi block related diseases. So if you take, if the stress is too much and your nadis which are connected with your heart gets blocked, then obviously a person starts suffering from the heart related problems or lung related problems. When you do meditation, obviously whatever blockages you have created with your because of your lifestyle or too much of stress and all, that gets released. When that gets released, everything, either you manage it very well or you cure it completely. Certain thing you can manage very well by doing regular meditation. That's the reason nowadays doctors have started saying that, okay, medication will help, but meditation will give a push. It will be much better for you.
Is mental and emotional level same?
No, mental and emotional levels are different. Now, stress is related with your mental problem, obviously. Emotions, you suffer from the emotion because of the excess stress. That's how it is different. So there are 9 kind of emotions. Anger and all, they are a part of emotions. 9 rasa, 9 emotions. They are different. So when you are mentally strong, emotionally, automatically you become stronger. You can control your emotions and all. Otherwise, we are always slave of our emotions. It becomes very difficult to control your anger. It become very difficult to control your stress. So there are a lot of emotions. We are slave of that. So by doing meditation, you can control that, and your mind becomes more stronger. That is your mental. Mentally, you become stronger. So emotionally also, it helps you.
And what's the most effective time to meditate in a day?
Definitely morning, or the yogi says morning dusk or dawn is the best time, or evening dawn. But however, I never limited myself with my meditation times and all. Obviously, for meditation, you have to be empty stomach. You should not do it immediately after consuming food, whether your breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You should not do it. However, after meditation, immediately you can eat. But meditation should be done on an empty stomach. But morning dawn is our really a best time.
I think we'll take the last question. It's a little longer question. Somebody wants to know that what chakras are related to. Says I'm confused. It says root is Hang, skull is Yang, solar plexus is Rang, heart is Wang.
Okay.
Just...
So if you remember, it's a little funny but wonderful way to remember. You know, last part in each beach mantra I sing, it is yam or ang or right? It is only the first letter which is different in each and every beach mantra. So if you want to memorize it, right from Muladhara chakra till your Muladhara, Swadhisthana and your Manipur chakra, the letter reads as lover, okay, lover, lang wang rang. And we are always young at heart, young. We are always young at heart. Whatever age we come to, we are always young. Hung, I'm sorry, this is a little funny, but it is easy to remember. We get hanged by the neck, hung, okay? And then comes, we have not learnt it yet, but it is Om and Soham. You can never forget it. So it's lover, young, hung. Now you won't forget it if you remember this, what you say, ratio or this formula.
Okay. Thank you, Preeti ji.
Okay.
Ravi ji, you want to say something? I definitely want to thank you on behalf of India House for doing such a wonderful session for all of us every Friday. Ravi ji, you want to say something?
I just want to say one thing, that we had Preeti ji's father log in today, but seems like we have lost him now. While we were doing our meditation, he wanted to say something, but now we don't have him here any more on this session. Hopefully next time we'll get him to say something on this next session. Okay. Thank you, Preeti. Really wonderful session. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone.
See you all next